I don't care if you've been trying to prevent a swarm attack all night. If you up, smash that like button. Welcome to Black and the Black Times Infinity. I'm your host, Cthulhu's Project, coming to you live and direct from the Vista Smoke Me Out fam with all the dankest of dank shit on my left. Oldest ninja in the world, old ninja.
If you live in Northern California, you know that the armies of Mordor are coming.
God damn. On my far right, engineering on the ones and twos, choke people out on threes and fours, Chronos.
Hey, just remember, California, if you're drowning, you can always swim to the butt. Lil Wayne told us this.
Sure did.
Sure.
Blue is not with us tonight. I think he's not feeling well. Got the what do you call it, Chronos? That wonderful
Goddess,
Goddess
disease.
of Hope
goddess of relays.
Yeah.
Goddamn kids.
It's terrible.
Bringing all that shit home.
Yeah, shit, there are germ factories though.
But
It's all
we
good.
back up in
It's all
here.
it's for the best, you know. It's funny to me how some people they don't believe in like evolution, but they sure do believe in fucking virus evolutions, don't they?
Oh no, they don't believe in vaccines, but
Not some people don't believe in evolution either. I'm just like, okay, you know,
Mhm.
we got wiped out by Corona, you know, virus, COVID-19, which is the 19th year, and it's evolved since then.
Yep.
It's just people want to see instantaneous fucking evolution. Just look at viruses. Stop looking at goddamn mammals and shit. It takes a long time for mammals. Viruses and bacteria and shit, way less time.
Well, you're right. It does take a long time, but literally every single fucking dog breed you have
Yeah.
is based on human selection. Humans created dogs. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Wolves existed, and we made dogs out of them.
And pretty much all of our, you know, domesticated animals like pigs and fucking just pigs alone. You can take a pig and just put it in the wild and see what happens. Just watch miraculous, see what happens. That shit ain't a fucking pig no more.
Mm-hmm.
It turns into a wild hog. It grows fucking
Boar.
crazy ass teeth. They get fucking hairy and shit. But you know, you leave them in captivity. Yeah, they stay all pink and you know fat and shit. But just let them go and see what happens.
There you go. All right.
Anyway,
What kind of stats you got for us?
listener of the week would be Jida. Thank you very much. Jida 12 specifically. There could have been 11 other ones.
Wait, spell Jida for me.
Jaidah. Am I saying the name wrong?
No.
Perhaps I could.
Jida. All right. Shout out to you.
Maybe I am. Shit. No, I'm fucking it up. Jada?
maybe
it's
they
just Jada.
Yeah, I was gonna
Probably
say
could
they
just be Jada. So, my bad if I fucked that up.
Mm-mm.
But I came back. First in the chat would be nobody because we were late. Someone will be in here hopefully sometime soon.
Good shit.
Yeah. Posted. Oh shit!
What?
I forgot that we don't have Blue because I can do Twitter really quick.
Okay.
I'm so used to.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so used to him doing it that he wasn't here, and I totally forgot. But it's fine.
Well, you were still supposed to pour out something beveragey and malty
Well,
and brown and
let
shit.
him figure out the Twitter thing first, and then we'll come back to him. Do the Twitter thing,
Oh.
and then let us know when you're ready. Real quick,
Right.
Prodigy. Because I know both me and you, we pay attention to some world events more than some of the others on the podcast.
Yep.
For better or for worse. What do you think about the recent bank issues, specifically SVB and Signature Bank and Credit Suisse? Suisse.
I'm very frustrated with the rapid level of aid and bailout that just instantly happens so quickly with the government as a whole. I mean, everybody's heard about some of the problems and the closure of Silicon Valley Bank. They were one of the top 20 largest banks in the country. I think they were somewhere in the teens. They weren't like top 10, but they were still a big bank.
There were. Actually, they weren't considered a big bank. They were only considered a larger bank recently, only because it's kind of going into like history, but it's because of the easing of the Dodd-Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Dodd-Frank Act, because they basically eased up some of the restrictions on what would be considered a bank that cannot fail. And it used to be $50 billion, and they changed it to a quarter of a trillion dollars. And because basically, if you were before with this act in, if you were a bank above $50 billion, you had to have more oversight and stress testing from the federal government. And so the banks, specifically Silicon Valley Bank, and I think Signature Bank, and a few other banks, they rallied really hard or lobbied really hard to repeal that specific rule. And after they repealed that rule, that's what you can thank good old, former President Trump for this one. He repealed it, and those banks went from a little less than $50 million to Silicon Valley Bank went from 2019, I think, from a little less than 50 billion to a little less than 250 billion in a matter of 5 years, less than 5 years, really. So,
with risky ass, shaky ass investment.
well, the problem is, hopefully, I wish Double Tank was on here because he could break down further. But the main problem was this: they bought a bunch of bonds, federal bonds, that were 10-year bonds or longer. And when you have the interest rates going up, that affects the bond market too. So when you have a certain bond that's like, say you bought like a $10 bond at a certain interest rate, well, you're getting a certain interest rate for 10 years. It's pretty solid. Like you're going to get your investment back with interest, obviously. But what happened was when they kept upping the rates, that ups the fucking interest rates on those same bonds. So the bonds that you previously just bought for I'll say $10, not a bunch of money, because then it gets you got to do math and shit. But now that same $10 bond is worth more money than the bond that you bought when the interest rates were lower. And so what happened was Silicon Valley Bank, they put a bunch of money in these bonds, and so that when you put money in the bonds, it's no longer liquid. Like that's just locked for like 10 plus years, however long the bond lasts for. And so apparently a bunch of people like recognize this, and they were like, hey, Silicon Valley Bank isn't as liquid as it used to be. Let's start pulling our shit out because we're afraid that we won't be able to pull it out. And because we have Twitter now, a bunch of people in Silicon Valley Bank, a bunch of people are just like, oh, hey, let's just pull out. So they all just did a bank run. They just started pulling shit out. And Silicon Valley Bank was known for taking, semi-risky investments on younger people in Silicon Valley or in the tech industry in general that couldn't previously get funding. So they were really notoriously known for doing that, like taking, what other banks wouldn't take on that risk for these sorts of loans. So yeah, it was a pretty shitty thing.
Yeah, you can't. Here's the thing. Even with the bonds, yes, there's some in good times, when the interest rates are low, you think that it's going to be a pretty solid investment. I get that. But you can't over invest in just that or have too many of your eggs in that basket. And here's the other thing, too. It's not like it was a giant shock or surprise. They talked about raising interest rates for a long time prior to even doing it. And then they continued to talk about every quarter or so, hey, we're going to be raising interest rates. We're going to be raising interest rates. So, I don't have a whole lot of fucking sympathy for them in general. And then I even have less sympathy for how quickly, there was just this immediate influx of, well, we got to bail them out. We have to.
Yeah, and especially like the lies that they were saying about it. Like they were saying, well, if we don't do this, people are going to be, it's not just going to be a haircut. It's going to be, mom and pop shops are going to lose business. Regular people are going to lose, their savings. And it's like, no, because the FDIC already insures $250,000 for that bank. Most banks are FDIC insured. So I think if you have more than, $250,000 in your account, you're pretty well off, given the fact that the average American only has $5,300 in their account.
Yeah, even that's getting rarer and rarer to have 1,500. But I was going to say too, and you're absolutely right about the $250,000. That only the $250,000 is supposed to be insured. That's a well-known, not a secret, a well-known fact for anybody, especially in the financial sector or business sector or whatever. So you took risks. Unnecessary risks. You could have diversified that. You could have had it in multiple accounts. You could have had it in multiple banks. You could have invested it here and there and real estate and a whole bunch of other shit. But you didn't do that.
Yeah, just as kind of like a sort of extreme example, because Silicon Valley Bank, they obviously had accounts with businesses. Fucking Roku, they had almost $500 million in one account with SVB. Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you have almost $500 million liquid in a single account in a single bank? That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
You know what they were on? They were on that DuckTales Scrooge McDuck shit. They wanted to literally swim in the motherfucking gold coins. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
You know.
man, that shit's crazy. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the worst ones was Signature Bank. So I forget his name. Frank. What's his first name? He was a former congressman, the guy who wrote the bill.
Oh,
Barney
Frank?
Yeah, Barney
Yeah.
Frank. This is
Yeah.
even kind of more egregious. So Barney Frank, he actually, the guy that wrote the actual bill, he actually, he stopped working for Congress, and he actually ended up being on the board for, or he was a director, an outside director for Signature Bank, and he was getting paid millions of dollars from Signature Bank, which is the revolving door that everybody talks about, that people, which is one of the things that he kind of championed against, like large banks and shit. But anyway, he's on the board for Signature Bank, getting paid all this money, and he's one of the ones that lobbied to up the actual amount of what is considered a bank that cannot fail, which is supposed to be $250 billion instead of 500 billion. And he said that there was a slight bank run on Signature Bank, but that the Fed stepped in too soon and seized Signature Bank, and he was mad about that. But it's like, but I mean, man, you can't have it both ways. I mean, you're the one that wrote this bill, and you're also the one that lobbied against like this certain part of the bill.
Yep.
Like what I can understand. I can totally understand, even though it's early. I know that it's early, but I can totally understand. The federal government being, hey, we don't want 2008 all over again, especially given that we're still recovering from COVID. I get that, but at the same time, once again, you're using tax dollars to bail these banks out. And no matter, I don't care how somebody tries to fucking spin that shit, saying that, oh, well, it's supposed to be covered by the, okay, if it was covered by the, because I know banks have reinsurance and shit like that. I understand that. But if the banks have reinsurance and this is all going to be covered by the banking system anyway, then why the fuck did the federal government step in? If the federal government steps in, that means our tax dollars are being spent on some level.
And what incentive do you have to be a prudent bank that follows the rules, that doesn't overinvest in risky stuff, that tries to, slowly and conservatively grow the money in diversified assets and all of these other things that are tried and true principles of economics and everything? There's no incentive to do that. It's be as risky as you can, be as reckless as you can, and it's almost like you're out here just fucking hoes with no condoms on, you know what I mean, and then complaining about getting some STD or STI. It's wild to me. It is offensive in terms of the whole bailout stuff, the 08, 09 stuff. A lot of people still don't even, go back into that recent history and realize just how much that cost the average taxpayer. It was ugly, and at the same time, I want more regulation in terms of that revolving door that Kronos spoke about. I want more regulation in terms of truly evaluating, hey, is this bank at risk? Not a few weeks ago, everything looked all kosher. Like you had, what was his name? Jim Cramer on the show saying, oh yeah, invest in Silicon Valley Bank, looking like an asshole just at the end of late February, and now they're fucking gone. Like it's wild.
Yeah, and another thing that's even more wild is that they literally paid out bonuses the Friday that they collapsed.
Yeah.
Like the Friday before they collapsed.
Yep.
So they're paying out millions of dollars to their, employees and their, senior and their executives, and all of a sudden no. You need to go back and recoup that money. Go back and take those fucking bonuses back, because that's people's money.
Yep.
I don't know if people understand how banks work, but when you give them money, like your money is what makes the bank work. Like they take that shit, they reinvest it, they pay themselves out. That's how banks work. But to have them do that and then be like, oh, I guess we failed. No, like if you failed, then it's more than just, oh, I guess all the senior staff is fired. No, take the bonuses back and put that into the people's bank accounts, and the other the corporations' bank accounts. Because I understand that there's more than just people's bank accounts, but yeah, it's just it's crazy, and it's crazy that this is just an acceptable route for our tax dollars to take is to bail out these banks, and meanwhile we have to fight fucking. I'll just give an example like recent shit. The East Palestine disaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically it's like a mini Chernobyl, and it's been going on for weeks now, if not months. And they're getting very little federal aid. People are trying to tell them that, oh, the water's safe, even though people are getting rashes. They're saying the air's safe. People are getting rashes, they're getting sick, they're getting migraines and shit like that. There's already serious health issues with that place, and Norfolk Southern is saying that everything is fine, and that the people that they paid to take these samples are saying that it's fine. Meanwhile, the FEMA didn't really get involved at all, and the federal government isn't doing shit, but they're willing to back a bank where people's money was already fucking safe, that already had reinsurance. It's like, why don't you help the people out that are literally sick and dying? You know, these people that had their money in that bank that had more than a quarter million, they're fucking fine. They're fine.
And I'm going to put some numbers behind this for context. 150 billion in bailout money for Silicon Valley Bank, 70 billion in bailout for, hold on, so sorry.
Signature Bank?
Yeah, for Signature Bank. Give me 1 second. I just
Credit Suisse isn't our problem, because that was done by the is it Norway or the Swiss bank? It's a Swiss bank. So
yeah, but I was just going to say, I mean, again, this is context. Regardless of how you feel about any of these other things, roughly, this is an estimate, about 24 billion for student loan forgiveness, about 85 billion for repairing school infrastructure, about 20 billion for paid family leave, 40 billion for child and universal pre-K, 24 billion for dental coverage for seniors, 22 billion for 2 years free community college. I want to make this point, and I want to make it really clearly. You know, when you're talking about all of this money, and it's in the billions and billions of dollars, the stuff that you always hear, oh, that's too expensive, we can't pay for that as a country. The dollars actually show that you could, you just don't. There's no political will. That's fine. And I'd rather have that discussion about political will than blowing smoke and talking about, oh, we can't afford it. Get the fuck out of here.
No, it's because, you know, for some reason, both Democrats and Republicans, they believe in, you know, corporate socialism, but, you know, the people just pull yourselves up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
You know, we've had so much corporate socialism in this fucking country over the past, you know, fucking forever. That it's crazy. Like, if we would stop giving all these goddamn incentives to corporations and stop with the subsidies and actually put our minds and money towards using our own money to help ourselves out, I think we'd be a much, much better off country. But, you know, people hear that, you know, the magical S word, socialism, and they get all fucking up in arms about it. It's like, listen, some of the greatest programs in America are considered socialist programs. Like, correct. They are. And I don't think socialism is like, I'm not a real big socialist, but when it comes to certain social programs, like, what the fuck? Fucking, you know, free schools for kids. You know, that's a socialist thing. You know, there's a bunch of, like, Social Security. Shit, it's in the fucking name. Like, who's against Social Security? Like, what person in America is against Social Security? It's something you pay. People are trying to convince you to not be into it, but it's the money that you paid into so you can fucking retire. You know, or you can be like France and up the age and, like, watch your whole fucking country burn down. You know, there's a whole bunch of, you know, just getting around town. These are social programs that do that. Your tax dollars go towards infrastructure. You know, that's roads, electricity, fucking gas, all this other stuff. You know, libraries, shit like that. Who's against libraries? You know, but all of a sudden, when it comes to expanding to new social programs, everybody's pissed about it. And it's like, but meanwhile, they're fine with, like, wasting it on bullshit.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that's so funny to me. Almost any nonpartisan, institute will confirm the fact that there's always positive ROI long-term on infrastructure shit.
Yeah.
It's just always building new bridges, buildings, high-speed internet, any type of infrastructure, it pays for itself in somewhere in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years.
and then some in terms of the ROI. It's crazy to be against it, you know. Anyway, this country.
Yeah, it's great, but also kind of terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing our best in air quotes. If you're not watching the live stream, we're doing our best, air quotes.
Yeah. And you mentioned France. Holy fucking shit. There- it doesn't get much U.S. attention media wise, and that is what
Because
it
it's
is.
France. Yeah.
Yeah, but literally, their president Macron, I think Macron, maybe the N is
You can just put the on there if you want. I mean,
pronounced. Uh,
It's terrible.
he did some shit. It seems like he did it very unilaterally to up the retirement age for everybody by 2 years. And they were like, "Well, how do you like the smell of garbage and your train's not running
yeah.
and burning effigies to you right out front in front of Parliament or whatever? You're basically your White House. Oh, you like that? Okay, we're gonna do that until you back the fuck down. This shit is not ending anytime soon, and we shall see. But there's a whole lot of mass protests, mass strikes going on in that country, and yeah, I think they're going to one way or another fucking win.
I mean, this is like literally the wrong time in history to be against workers' rights. Like, there's been other obvious, workers' revolutions in the past, but right now is like people are just teetering on the edge for a lot of
Mhm.
countries, including America. I mean,
Yep.
you're seeing, record low, unemployment, but also you're also seeing fucking incredible amounts of layoffs throughout a whole bunch of corporations. And on the same side, you're seeing, the Fed upping its interest rates, and one of their goals, which is what the guy said, is to like have more unemployment, to like ease inflation, because they don't want to have people to have so much money that the prices of everything goes up. But it's like that's kind of the wrong way to go, man. I mean, people need to work, and we have a homeless problem already in America. And I think a lot of people they kind of they only count you as being unemployed if you're getting paid unemployment.
Yep.
And it's getting to a certain point to where you keep laying off. I mean, look at Facebook. They're laying off another 8,000 people. I think Amazon just announced another 11,000 people. I hope that other other corporations can absorb those people. But it's like we're not. Our economy is not okay. Like it's not. I mean, you can see it with your own eyes. If you live in any major city or anywhere near a major city, you pass through the major city, you see the cracks forming. And they've been there for a long time. It's been exacerbated since COVID. But I mean, if you haven't seen a large tent city in your major city, then you're fucking lucky.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And again, I'll point out something that I've mentioned a billion times on here. This country, over the course of 2.5 years, lost over 1 million plus citizens.
Yeah, that probably accounts for the fucking the low unemployment. That's fucking dark.
I mean, yeah,
That's dark.
it is what it is. All right, old ninja, we got to lighten it up a little bit. So take us to
With
the
some
deaths.
deaths. Yeah, tell
Yeah,
us about the
Yeah,
deaths.
no. I was about to say,
Lighten
how
it
you
up.
gonna lighten it up with more
And
death?
this is a bad one too. I know I know one of them is gonna be real bad.
yeah. Let's bring it on home. Let's do it. Come on.
All right, we're gonna pour out some of this St. Ides this week. We're gonna start with Bobby Caldwell.
Damn.
This one wasn't. It was kind of under the radar because I guess a lot of people didn't know his like legacy or even they know his songs but not his name. Put it that
What
way.
were his songs, old ninja?
So he was a jazz, soul, R&B, and adult contemporary singer. He had a four decade career. His
What
hit
were his
single,
songs, old ninja?
"What You Won't Do for Love," which was
There
a
we go.
huge
Thank
hit,
you.
and I got more for you. He's been sampled by hip hop artists throughout the decades. The track "Open Your Eyes" from his second album, "Cat in the Hat," was written by Jay Dilla on Common's "The Light." From his 2000 album Like Water for Chocolate, he wrote songs for other artists, or Caldwell wrote songs for other artists, like the number one single "The Next Time I Fall" for Amy Grant and Peter Cetera. He would go on to write songs for Roy Ayers, Chicago, Natalie Cole, Neil Diamond, Roberta Flack, and Al Jarreau, and Boz Scaggs. He used to play rhythm. He used to play rhythm guitar for the late great Little Richard in the early '70s. When he signed to TK Records in the late '70s, the TK had like a notoriety for being a mainly R&B label popular among African American listeners. So the executives at the label wanted to conceal the fact that he was white. So on his album covers in a silhouette. It doesn't show his
Yep.
face. It shows what he wrote, what he wore. He wore a signature fedora. When he toured with Natalie Cole to support his album, the audiences, when they saw him, didn't know he was black, and so they were surprised to see a white guy come out with and play on the piano these ballads. His second album, Carry On, Caldwell played all the instruments on the album. He also produced it and helped arrange mixing and arrangement on the album. His music is continually being sampled, even illegally, such as the case with Lil Nas X. For the past 5 years, he couldn't walk due to neuropathy, and it's being reported that the toxic effects of fluoroquinolones, according to his wife, is what led to his condition. He died at the age of 71.
Damn.
I feel like he's like Michael McDonald. Yeah,
Very
people thought
much
he was
so.
black too.
Yeah, but well,
Hold
so
on, they kept forgetting.
the thing about Michael McDonald is that he came from a very famous family that also had hit albums. He just split off, and then he became part of the black community, even though he's so. I mean, he's been on stage with some of the biggest African American artists in like musical history or contemporary history.
Oh shit, he's
So,
still alive.
yeah,
Yeah.
McDonald hasn't died, not yet. You'll
Yeah.
know when he passes.
The thing,
uh,
just real quick, old ninja. The thing that's always fascinating to me, just like every other aspect of life in America or whatever, it was so fucking segregated. Like even incredible music that everybody pretty much could love, it's just like, well, are we going to play this on the white stations or the black
mhm.
stations? Who's our audience? And that whole aspect of it, even in our early, like when we were kids, to a certain extent, it was obviously lessening a lot, but the segregation of American music has a long ass fucking history, and I give props to folks who were able to not only bridge that or overcome that, or sell records to black audiences or audiences, because it wasn't fucking easy.
I think
They
it's
wanted
Oh
to
no.
keep it separated.
honestly.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think the main thing, because if you look at historically, like even today, like we're a more segregated society today than we were back then, and
A
that's
lot of
to,
this, yeah.
for most of the U.S.
I mean,
Which is crazy.
I can still go to public restroom and not be chased out by a mob.
Here in
So,
California, yeah. I mean,
so
but
I mean, oh, go ahead. Go
oh,
ahead.
and
My
like
bad.
finishing my point, I think the main thing that changed with like music, especially, is because technology, like radio, and then TV, and then you have the internet. That's what mostly changed. How people consumed music, because you can no longer have kind of like a white only station. I mean, like, look at, if you want to watch a really cool thing. Yes, I think it was Sting. Was it Sting or
Mhm.
fucking
David Bowie.
David Bowie? That's what it was. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about. David
I was
Bowie.
also
He was on MTV, and he was like, "Why aren't you playing black artists in the daytime on this?" And I think it was Kurt Loder that was trying to like explain like why they
mhm.
weren't doing it. And he's like, Sting was just like, or sorry, David Bowie was like, he was baffled. He's like, "What are you talking about? Like show them like black artists in the daytime. Like stop pandering to white people in the Midwest. That's not the vast
Mhm.
majority of your audience. The vast majority of
Yeah.
your audience is like, there are other people." You know what I mean? So
I mean, according to some of the executives, apparently they knew their demographic back then. They knew who was tuning in,
it,
and if it was Middle America, it was. There's a very good example when Circus of the Stars was on back in the '90s, and one of the actresses from 90210 talks about her act and how she did her act with Alfonso Rivera,
hmm.
and during they were showing what they would do, and they would show some of the practices, and one of them she practiced she hugged him. An executive from CBS, this is in the '90s, said,
Mhm.
"Hey, when you're done, don't hug him. She's like, why? Why can't I hug him? He's like there to catch me, kind of. And they're like, well, he literally says Middle America is not going to like that.
Yeah, but
And that's like our core audience.
that's the
That
thing,
is
though.
their
No,
core,
that's the
and he's
problem,
from
though. Is that
PBS.
Middle America is not anybody's core audience. Middle America is fucking empty. It's fucking
according to
empty. Like I don't
according
understand.
to
Like
this guy,
the
he
demo.
had the demographics.
No, but
He's
it's
like,
not.
hey,
That's what I'm saying, though. The middle of America is basically fucking empty.
Mm.
Like the most people live on the fucking coast. Yes, you know you have a good portion. Like some people that live, you know, in Chicago and Detroit, but most people live on the fucking coast. And so for people to sit there and try to like, you know, mansplain or whatever splain that we need to have our core audience is the Midwest. Nobody fucking lives in the Midwest.
so I think what he probably, well, what they were
Shout out to the Midwest, though.
alluding to, I think what he was alluding to is like literally what is known as the Bible Belt.
Yeah, but again,
That was their audience.
there's
I
very
mean, the
few.
Bible,
I'm
those people
I'm
are
spitting
those are
facts.
70 million people.
But I'm spitting
70
facts.
million people
70
there.
million people out of 330 million people.
350 million.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like, why are people really going for this audience?
They want
Like-
that. They want those numbers.
No,
70
like because those are not the numbers. Like, look what happened when once they started going towards a larger audience. It's, how did MTV blow up? Did it blow up from playing mainly towards white people?
Michael fucking Jackson.
Mm, true. Well,
Let's be real.
yeah,
No,
true.
he is a Midwesterner though.
He is.
He is-
So no,
he
got me
is-
there.
He is a Midwesterner. He's straight from
And he
Minnesota.
got a bunch of siblings too. So they
Yeah,
all
who were big in the 60s.
they all got beat though.
And-
They
and,
did.
yeah, that's all
They
bad.
called him by his first name too.
Damn. God dang. As Prodigy alluded to earlier, I had pointed out like one of the Pointer Sisters had passed like a month or so ago. I talked about her in the RIPs, and there's a video of them being invited to a very popular late night talk show host. I don't remember if it was John. I don't think it was Johnny Carson, but on the show, they were like the first African American women to be on the show. They performed country music live on that show, and some people were like astounded, even though I guess they didn't know that they were black females, but they were doing really well on they're doing really well in the country charts.
So Ken Burns had an awesome PBS documentary series. It's really fucking long. But I was just gonna say this: country music has a whole lot of fucking early black ass artists.
oh yeah,
And
I mean,
black folks have made incredible contributions to country music. You won't hear a whole lot about it, but country doesn't have to be as white as it is, and
No.
it's slowly changing now, but it's very manufactured, the over representation of white artists in country.
oh yeah,
Just put that out there.
especially recently. I mean, country's changed
I mean,
a
it's
lot
been
the last-
decades. Since
yeah,
like,
in the last couple decades.
Yeah.
It's been probably almost a century, to be real honest.
well,
about-
I don't know. You've been around
Yeah.
longer than I haven't, so.
Yeah, because it was way different. Like even like early 1900s. Even there's some very deep South country, like even the whole banjo thing. There's black folks doing that too.
Tell us about your friend Josiah from 1918.
It's Obadiah.
Oh,
he
my
passed-
bad.
He passed a while ago. Moving on. We even though there's only three of us, we can still go 3 hours. But,
Yes.
next up on my list is Tom Sizemore. He was one of Hollywood's, I guess, bad boy types. He had a lot of roles.
Did you
and
call
was
him a
very-
top?
No,
Top?
bad boy types, not a top. I highly
Oh, that's
doubt he
a
was
top.
I said
No, he's not.
I heard top.
He's on top.
what
Probably
you talking-
heard what he wanted to hear.
He heard what he wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's in notable films such as Passenger 57, True Romance, Strange Days, Saving Private Ryan, and Black Hawk Down. He was overshadowed at times by his problems with substance abuse and the law. He even had a Golden Globe nomination for his TV role in the Witness Protection film. However, his abuse of drugs and alcohol landed him in jail, and he was documented in 3 different TV series about his recovery with alcohol and drug abuse, such as Shooting Sizemore, Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew, Celebrity Rehab Presents Sober House. He was addicted to meth and heroin.
Damn, I had a
He had
meth joke. I thank God I didn't say it.
a there was his torrid affair, or I guess his affair, torrid, livid, uh, whatever you want to call it, his affair with famous Hollywood sex madam Heidi Fleiss. He had a sex tape scandal with Vivid Entertainment, where they released a film with him having sex with several women against his wishes. Uh, Even though, despite all these scandals, he had a master's degree from Temple
Hold on,
University.
can you rewind just a little bit? How do
Yeah.
you? I don't
Wi-
understand that. Doesn't word
Against his
word.
wishes or their wishes?
Against his wishes, they acquired the tape and they put
Oh,
their distribution on it and made money off of him fucking all these chicks. So,
okay.
so
That makes
he ended. So he sued them due to this. But
Did he win?
actually, I don't know. I didn't.
Oh,
I
I
saw
mean,
that
he
sued
won
them.
by fucking a bunch of chicks, obviously, but
He did, including Heidi Fleiss, who I
he's
don't think is very attractive, but that's just me. He had a huge resume of films. He was also in video games such as Grand Theft Auto Vice City, as Fioli, uh, Forelli.
it's all about
That's
gay
who he
Tony.
plays. He's also in films like Bringing Out the Dead and Born on the 4th of July. He had a rock and roll band called Day 8 on February 18th of this year. He suffered an aneurysm and was in a vegetative state for a month.
Damn.
On the 20th of February, he was pronounced. He was on a vegetative state until the 28th. They unplugged him on the 28th. On the 3rd, he passed. He was 61. He has 3 movies coming out this year alone.
Damn.
And then, last and not least, definitely not least, this one came as kind of a shocker. It was Lance Solomon Reddick,
Mm.
uh, famous American actor, and he was a musician. Most people will remember him from The Wire or Fringe, Bosch, and the John Wick franchise, which the latest one comes out this weekend. He's also in 2 of the Fallen series. I'm using air quotes. So, like, Angel Has Fallen. He's in one of those. He's in 2 of them, actually. Uh, he's in Lost for a couple of seasons. He plays Albert Wesker in Prodigy's favorite Resident Evil, apparently on Netflix, which I heard was really shitty. He's in Quantum Break, Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, and Horizon Zero Dawn, and he is most famously probably Commander Zavala in the Destiny franchise.
Yep. Yeah.
He actually had a master's degree in music.
Hmm.
He attended Yale School of Drama in the early 90s. He received a master in also in fine arts. It was just very strange because he died suddenly. It is being reported that he died of natural causes, but there's been, according to police, but a lot of people are not kind of buying it. Some people suspect it might be prescription drugs, but he passed on. Literally, there's his last picture that was posted. He's on his couch with his dog.
Damn. This one hurt.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
like
Oh.
the day before he passed, actually hours before he passed. I think it was the day before, which is also hours because that's how days work. Anyway, he was playing Destiny 2,
He was playing
which he's
Destiny
also in, which is
2.
I didn't know he was an actual gamer because a lot of people lend their voices to games and they don't fucking play the games. But
Mhm.
when I say he's a gamer, he put over 14,000 hours in on Destiny
Mhm.
2.
And for you Destiny players, he was a Warlock main,
Yeah, which is
which is
base.
very weird.
That's my main too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was. It's funny because he in the game, he is the voice of the Titan Vanguard, but yet he played the game as a Warlock. And there's a story that was out there about from one of the developers when he hit them up. He said, "Hey, I haven't played a raid yet. I want to play a raid." So the developer was looking for friends and people from the community to join them and Lance in the raid. They played the Wrath of the Machine raid, which is the last raid from Destiny 1, and they completed the raid. They said they spent like 2 hours on the raid, but because of Lance's antics, they were about to fail, but he saved the team and they were able to finish the event.
That's awesome.
Very awesome story. So Lance had a couple of projects in the works. So he got cast as Zeus in the Percy Jackson and Olympians reboot series, or
Oh,
because
good.
it was a movie, it's a series on Disney Plus. He plays Zeus, which will apparently be out in the next year or so. He's also in. I didn't know. I forgot that this was in development. There's a Hellboy game where he is a voice. He's a voice in the game. I don't know if he voices Hellboy himself, but it's the game is called Hellboy Web of Word. A weird word. WYRD. So he died at the age of 60, which is actually relatively very young
Yep.
for someone who appears to be in pretty good health. I mean, but we don't know his life like that. We don't know if he was like suffering from any heart diseases or anything like that, or if he took medication. It's still unknown at this time, but it was still a pretty big loss for the gaming community and even Hollywood itself because he's being remembered all over the place by hundreds of stars, including Keanu Reeves and Ian McShane and just a ton of people. There's just lists and lists of people.
He's
So this one he will be missed.
he's got one of those like really prolific voices, like the way that he has a very serious voice, and once you hear his voice, you can like recognize him in like basically anything.
Mhm.
He played Silence in Horizon
Horizon.
Zero Dawn, and I was hoping because like obviously there's gonna be another one, and without him in it, like I don't know. I think the game is they're losing obviously the world is losing a person, but in this game in particular, they're gonna lose a significant character um, in the game. It's fucking sad. It's also anytime anybody dies, it's sad. But this guy to have, he didn't appear to be, sick at all. It just seemed to be like kind of out of nowhere, which is just you never know, when that's it, you know. So
Um, so did any of you watch The Legend of Vox Machina?
I watched part of it.
So I
Yeah.
watched the first season. So he's in that series as well. He's the voice of the king, the king
Yeah,
of the realm.
yeah.
He's the voice in that show. So it's very sad to hear because
He's in Rick and Morty too.
he is
Yep.
in Rick and Morty
Yeah.
couple. So
Uh,
did you know he's in Castlevania? He's
Yeah,
in
yeah, exactly. He was
Castlevania.
season
So
3 and 4.
he has a huge resume of like just voicing, but then live action as well, and some of them are big projects. So
I think if I'm not mistaken, he was in American Horror Story as Papa Legba in
he is
the
Baba Lega. He
Pup
is in the whole
series.
makeup and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him.
So yeah, R.I.P. to him, man. That was a rough one because he was just
Oh,
so good.
so if you want to see like a little gem that most people probably don't know it's out there, because he's really good in this role, even though it's a very small role. If you watch Tron Uprising on Disney Plus, he's the voice of Cutler on the show. Tron Uprising is very, very surprisingly good, like show. It has an all-star voice cast, like including him on there. So, like it has what's his name? Frodo. Fuck, what's his name? Why
Yeah,
can't I'm blanking on his name?
Frodo. He's always gonna be Frodo, man.
Yeah, he's on there. Mandy Moore is on there. Lance, the other Lance is on there. Lance Henderson, he's on there as well. So
Cool.
there's a ton of people on that show, but it's a very good show, even though it's on like 2 seasons. So
Yeah, man. R.I.P. to him. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I want to ask you guys: have you seen this wild ass fucking Donald Glover Amazon series Swarm?
So
no,
it's crazy.
but
So
I was gonna say really quick before you start, the chat, our live chat here started off with Swarm.
yeah.
People were already asking about Swarm when we started. So
So I had early access to it actually before it came out, but I didn't watch it. It seemed interesting, but I had like my life right now isn't great. So I didn't get a chance to watch it. And then today I was gonna try to watch it, but work was kind of busy for me. So I'm gonna watch it hopefully in the next couple days because I'm very interested to see the dark side of the Bayhive.
Okay, so let me say this: I'm not going to spoil shit. You should certainly fucking watch it. It is categorically the most confusing show I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And I watch B-rated horror and weird anime all the time. This is out there weird. There's shit that happens that you can't. I'm not going to say you can't. I couldn't orient myself in terms of what's real what's not, whose perspective is this in. I can't put it in a category in terms of some of it could be seen as dark comedy, some of it's light horror thriller, and other scenes are just fucking weird. I've seen 2 fucking episodes. I will tell you this: I didn't look at my phone the entire time, but I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm not even saying I like it, love it, or hate it yet. I'm just saying it's fucking weird and interesting and frustrating at the same fucking time and confusing. I need y'all to check it out because I gotta have somebody else to fucking talk to about this shit. I watched it with Mishka and she's fucking, we're both fucking confused. There's no, you know how in like fucking what was that one movie with the coin where they flip it at the end to see if what's real and what's not with the dreams?
It's not a
And
coin.
Oh,
Inception.
Inception.
yeah,
It was a
It's a
top.
top.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you here you go talking about tops again. See?
No,
Yeah, you're just trying to get around it, bitch.
I know, right?
I'm
Somebody
talking
was
about
watching.
coins. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Somebody was watching something before they came
Like,
up.
you know,
with
not the
that.
pointy thing on the end, and
That's all I'm gonna say.
But just how, like, with that movie, there's a lot of information, and with that one, there's some struggles about what's real and what's not. This one goes 80% what the fuck is real and what ain't, and some shit is just illogical. But I'm along for the fucking ride. Watch this shit so I can fucking talk to you about it because you're gonna feel strongly. I don't know if you're gonna like it. I'm not necessarily recommending it, but watch it.
it's like it has like kind of a Lost vibe. Remember Lost back in the day?
Yeah, Lost
It's like, what
was
the fuck
like
am I
that.
watching?
Yeah, Lost was wild. I loved it though.
I have the first 2 seasons of Lost on guess this DVD. Y'all remember DVDs?
I remember VHS or Betamax.
Oh, that dang. Betas.
All Ninja remembers drawings in caves.
I do. Stick figures.
So what did you
I
use
know.
for those drawings in caves? There's no chalk.
Use
Was
rock.
it blood or
So
shit or?
you use a smaller rock.
All
Very
right,
simple.
all right.
You just start etching the rock. I mean, you had
Find some
nothing else to do.
limestone?
We didn't have TVs. No, you just find, like usually wet wax are really smooth. They slip out of your hand, so you find a really rugged one, so your fingers rip and you start etching it. I mean, you ain't going nowhere.
You were an guano though, weren't you?
What? No, that's a you people thing.
What do you mean, you people?
All right. Cronus, did you? I don't think Old Ninja did. Did you happen to check out any fucking cyberpunk edge runners yet?
I haven't yet, man. Like I said, I'm just I'm trying to get my bearings still. I have not. I caught up on a lot of comics. Is what I
Okay.
did over the past week. And let me just hold on. Give me a second.
He's going to quantify this for the visual.
I am going to quantify.
Oh.
This is the past like
That is a stat.
3, maybe 4 days. I don't know. So I'm catching up.
That's
It's a lot.
good.
Yeah. And I've been catching up on. I've read some books, listened to some podcasts, so. And trying to stay in shape. But
All
yeah,
good.
no, it's on the list, man. I need to do it. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, I can catch up on. Watch at least some Edge Runner. I was confused. I try to slot in times for TV shows at least that I know just me is gonna watch, and you
Yeah.
know, Attack on Titan was one. But they started a new season, but it was basically just like an OVA so far because it was like an hour-long episode, and I was like, well, "Where's the rest, bitch? Like, what the fuck? Fucking refresh." I ain't getting shit now that they ain't putting out no more. So, yeah, that was kind of disappointing.
But I did fucking love that hour-long episode
yeah.
with and obviously you've seen it. And we're all okay. Yeah. What
No,
what
I have not seen it. But go ahead.
my girl Hang, how do you pronounce it?
Hanji?
Hanj.
Hanji?
Han-
I think it's Hanji.
Hanji,
Yeah,
Hanj.
Okay. Man, I just she was so fucking
she's a real one.
with that shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? First of all, hold on, we gotta back up. The goddamn rumbling. Fucking Eric Yeager's just like he just said fuck the entire fucking planet. I'm unleashing it. Titan's just gonna wreck shit. There's nothing you can do to prevent this. It's happening, and the entire world is just at his mercy.
I like how they
Like,
made the rumbling feel like it sounds very gentle, but it's not just not gentle. It's the very opposite
no,
of gentle.
no. And the terror in this shit, where you're just like, oh, what's that fog in the at the horizon? Or when they were at sea and they were like, we have our most powerful battleships pointing our most powerful rounds of munition over. It didn't matter. None of that matters. None of it matters at all. The rumbling is coming and it's just not going to fucking stop. And it's fast too. You see it in the distance and then all of a sudden it's right upon you.
Yeah, I don't. That is not what I was when they said the rumbling. I sort of got a gist of it, like at the end of the last final season.
Mm-hmm.
But like seeing the rumbling in action is just like, oh, okay, that's just like instant death, and
Yep.
you don't really have. There's no recourse. There's no fighting it. There's no nothing except for just death. You can run if you have something faster than them, hopefully, but that's about it. People die in horrific ways, and everybody, babies, fucking fathers, mothers, everybody. They don't give a fuck. Everything gets fucking dead. Animals doesn't matter.
Unalived, and the amount of destruction from just them fucking walking.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? From buildings burning down because there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of fucking steam, and then there's a lot of fucking earthquake ash pressure from each fucking walk or step that they fucking take. There's very few planes in this world. There's a few, but there's very few. You know what I mean? Unless you're in a powerful country's military or something.
Yeah, they
And
have zeppelins.
yeah, they do have some zeppelins. Most people are country bumpkins who call the fucking planes. What do they call them? Airships,
yeah,
airboats.
they're like the Midwest.
Yeah.
Sorry, Midwest. I'm fucking with you, all right? If you have internet right now, if a cow didn't step on your fucking internet line, you're listening to this podcast,
Oh,
I'm just fucking with you right now.
oh
Yeah.
man.
Matt, Joe, Becky, my people. They live in the Midwest, all right? My
Uh-huh.
daughter lives in the Midwest. She's
Mhm.
good people.
Everybody else.
Everybody else,
I'm sorry, Patrick. He's
Oh,
like,
damn.
what the fuck? He's in the Midwest.
There you go.
He's in Chicago, which is I consider the Midwest, sort of. It's
Yeah.
a major city in the Midwest, but
No?
yeah, she just said Chicago's big man right now.
I mean, Chicago, home of Juicy Smoothie. I mean,
You gotta
come
listen
on,
to
man.
the you gotta listen to the earlier part of the podcast when I was talking shit about the Midwest. But it's only like when I was talking about like most of the Midwest is fucking empty. And I specifically said Chicago and Detroit, like those areas are not empty, but most of like the center of the country is basically empty. So
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that Patrick has internet.
God damn.
Hold on. Now he's trying to gloat. The capital of the Midwest, third largest city in the nation. All right.
Ooh, all
I
right.
wonder what the Smurfs capital is right now. I'm just fucking shit posting.
My favorite thing that is truthful about Chicago, look at that population since the 1950 census. It's just gone down and down and down.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's not their fault.
Yeah. It
We
used to have
get-
over
hold
4
on.
million people.
People that are from the Midwest, if you're still listening, I mean, look at fucking San Francisco right now. Like, they're pretty fucked. And I think that San Francisco has a good chance of going the same way as Detroit, especially Detroit,
We'll
and
see.
like some other industrial. Chicago it's gone down a little bit, but I think that industrial cities, SF can go the same way for the same exact fucking reasons.
I don't see San Francisco losing 50% of their population over the course of 4 decades.
I don't know
I
that.
don't- We will see.
I mean, if there's an earthquake, yeah, maybe.
San Francisco's in a death spiral, man.
We will see. Bring this up, 40 years from now. But
No,
50% is a lot.
The only reason why I'm saying this because of like literally technical reasons, okay? Because before Silicon Valley, even like during like the Silicon, this is the problem that people don't really understand about San Francisco. Okay, because if you don't live in California or really specifically in the Bay Area, that people assume that San Francisco is part of Silicon Valley. It's fucking not at all. And San Francisco didn't really start getting big until like after the Silicon Valley boom, and that's when Twitter and a bunch of other like really major tech companies decided to move there, and that's when they saw like the major boom, and that's when you got to that's when you started to see like the major hike in rent and housing prices was after the Silicon Valley boom. So it was like in the early 2000s when you start to see that. But the problem is that a lot of those companies are letting those leases go if they haven't already. And some of the most, like a lot of those companies, they're still in those leases, and they're just. And this is one of the things that people don't understand if you're not from a major city is that when a major company like leaves a city, like it devastates that city because it's not just a major company; it's everything around it. It's the fucking restaurants, it's the fucking places where people hang out, it's the nightlife. All that shit goes because those people that used to hang out after work and get their lunches and all that shit, like that's revenue to the city. Plus, you're missing the revenue from those major corporations paying, corporate taxes for their real estate. And I don't have really high hopes for, unless there's a huge change in San Francisco, for them like being the same for a long time.
I hear you. I'm not disputing some of that history. I think San Francisco has found a creative way historically, because again, they've been around for so many decades or hundreds of years almost, of reinventing themselves quite a few times. That's been surprising. But we shall see. We shall see.
We shall see. They have issues ahead of them, and I think they're going to be in a tight spot, especially with the new thing with the homelessness thing and the drug thing, and it's like it's hard. That's like, and that's both Oakland and San Francisco, but I think San Francisco even more.
Yeah, look, I worked there for years. I'm not saying it's some perfect place at all. Anyway, sorry, we went all way down the list.
Yeah, we did. And I miss actually going to the city, especially during SFB week. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit to do.
Yeah.
But it's funny that Curtis mentions all those businesses because there's a lot. Because Twitch is literally downtown San Francisco. Twitter, Pandora's in Oakland because we've been there.
Salesforce.com, fucking IGN.
IGN is downtown.
There's a lot.
So CBS Interactive is literally 2 blocks away from IGN.
Yep.
Isn't Ubisoft there too?
They have a San Francisco office.
Yeah.
Sega of America is near off of Market. Sony has an office, a big office in San Francisco. There's a lot of shit up there.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's I shit on California a bit. There you go, Midwest. Don't hate me.
What the fuck? Oh my goodness. What were we?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Midwest, if you hate me, I just want you to recognize that if you drive down here and try to kill me, gas prices get more and more expensive the closer you get to me. So how about that? Just budget your shit.
There you go. I will wait until some more folks actually get on it, even though it's an older anime. It did win. That Edge Runners did win Anime of the Year, I think, according to Crunchyroll. I fucking see why.
We were talking about Edge Runners, but then it went to Attack on Titan.
Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, Edge Runners is a shit. Attack on Titan, I like that fucking 1 hour episode. The goddamn Titans that Eren has fucking unleashed, these wall Titans. They're just fucking scary, man. And the biggest thing that I will say about this series, it has no problem with like young kids, pregnant women, elderly, mentally disabled, whoever the fuck
They
you
should-
are, you're gonna die.
They could rename this entire series War Crimes,
Yeah,
and I'd be fine with that.
all the way around, just war crime after war crime, and yeah, it is what it is. They got one black character.
Oh, why are you
Yeah.
black?
I mean,
I don't-
listen, it's
that was
Japan though.
hilarious.
So like, if I think if the average Japanese person saw a black person, I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
That like in person,
yeah,
you know.
they got one. Uh, it's a great series. I still fucking love it, and I don't. Are they coming out with episodes weekly from now on?
I don't-
Nope.
I don't
Nope,
fucking
not-
know.
You're not gonna see nothing until like August.
You're not gonna see nothing until it's the final for real final season.
Not the
That
fake.
too. That too.
All right. Let me do a little bit of fucking praise and shit. Goddamn, Capcom got another motherfucking masterpiece on their hands according to all these early reviews and shit. Resident Evil 4 remake is getting 9s and fucking 9.5s and fucking 10s and shit. Like, this one looks like it's already, again, not released quite yet for the normal players and whatnot, so we'll see what they say.
Is it Resident
Obviously-
Evil 4?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
That-
I mean,
that release
honestly, y'all
week.
know I'm not a fan of, first of all, horror games. Like in general, I'm not a fan of horror games or horror movies. Like I'm just not. It's not my thing. And I'm not a fan of Resident Evil in particular because I played Resident Evil back when it was the first one on the PlayStation. There's no numbers after it. All right. And I was like, why can't I move and shoot at the same time? And I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And they didn't fix that shit for a long time. But apparently these remakes, you can do that. So I'm like, all right, that's a huge checkbox for me. And they seem, honestly, they seem pretty good. I've been watching all the reviews, watching gameplay, and they look pretty good. Like they fixed the main issues that I had a problem with. They didn't fix the fucking weird ass Japanese like storyline thing, which is a thing.
So the story is so weird and convoluted. It's never going to get fixed, ever, ever. That
Oh.
shit gets more twisted. The only one that had like the most streamlined was probably part 5. That has like the least amount of fucking side bullshit in it. But everything else fucking super convoluted.
Which is fine. I mean, it's
All-
fine. I mean, I grew up on Japanese video games. One of my favorite games of all time is a Japanese game. So
and here's the thing too, they lean all the way the fuck in on the weird supernatural shit, like especially in Biohazard and Village.
7 and 8, yeah.
I mean, just some weird fucking shit. Like, it's always been a zombie franchise, and then all of a sudden you got big titty vampire lady. You know?
I still have yet to play 7 or 8. So I think I'm just gonna abandon my second playthrough of part 2 or restart it and just start playing 3 because probably gonna get 3, 4, and then start playing 7 because I already beat 5 and 6. Like I beat the brakes off of those. So
2 is better than 3.
yeah,
Three
three-
is
I
still
know.
good.
3's short. I get it, but I still own it. I still want to
Yes.
play it. I never got to finish it when it first came out, and I know that they revamped Jill because Jill looks Latina now. So I still plan on playing it. I have it literally sitting like right. Oh no, I have it digital. I have part 2 sitting here. So
Oh,
and then part 3 also had a multiplayer component, like the little survival thing.
it was shit though. It was truly
Oh.
shit here multiplayer.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I can always try it. I bought the game. I bought it for like $30. So
I want y'all to know though, the pervy fucking side of me. Man, I saw on fucking Twitter today. I'll send it to y'all after this.
I don't know if I want it.
Thick ass Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 3 remake in like fucking panties and fucking push up and whatnot, just running from the monster and shit. I was like, God damn, this is my shit. And it was
Oh
some
wait,
kind
hold
of
on.
mod.
Is it a mod?
Yeah, but it was
Okay.
beautiful. You know what I mean?
like
Just
like
thick
like
ass-
Jenny mod.
yeah. Lingerie.
Oh, that Jenny mod. I'll never forget that shit had Project Fuck up.
That
He
shit
never even heard
up
of it, and he
weeks.
was talking mad shit. He literally tried it like within 15 minutes of us ending the cast. He was like, "Did you see this? Did you see this, dude? What is this? You know anything about this?" I'm like, "Dude, just stop and go to bed." But no, the whole weekend he went through this huge rabbit hole. By Monday, his eyes were all red and shit. He's all.
His eyes weren't red; they were literally pixels.
Down that rabbit hole, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Wait,
he's all. I had to go back to
what was
regular
that shit?
throwing.
What was that shit you sent me, old ninja? Where fucking Bioshock Infinite had like
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was the first one. It had the models that they used for the Overwatch horn. That's why Overwatch came out when it was announced. It came out so fast because people already had like stuff already. They were passing to each other in the modding community. They already had the mechanics. Just put the skins on them, added just literally changed the sliders on the titty physics, and then just went to town.
that was
Changed
the
the
most.
background and shit. It's wild.
I'm gonna take you back to 2016. That was the most amazing fucking time because it was one of those circumstances where before the game came out, you didn't really know who the fuck Widowmaker was or fucking uh, any of the Soldier 76,
You
any
knew
of
what
these
her ass
characters.
did, though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we kept thinking. I think we even talked about it on this goddamn show. We were like, "Damn, is Blizzard going to do anything about this?" Not that they could stop it once it started
Why would
going.
you want to? That's fucking free advertisement.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they're busy trying to make sure their game ran on all those systems. Thank you, fuck.
Yeah, man. That shit was wild. And if that's how I learned who fucking Mercy was, because she was gobbling fucking knobs and shit and healing fucking balls and assholes while fucking and shit. That shit was wild. I loved it. Shout out to old school Overwatch before it dropped, man. That shit was beautiful. All right.
Uh,
Hold on. What was
oh,
it? I was gonna say something. Oh,
well, we
we were
haven't.
talking about that
Oh, no.
whole thing about like porn and shit. I'm gonna segue a little bit because today we had the Unreal conference for I think it was for GDC.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's GDC season.
Yeah, so GDC was today. I think it's for the next couple days.
Yeah, it
Just,
usually goes until Sunday.
yeah, and honestly, it was really cool. So I've been a huge Unreal fan since like the first Unreal. I've been playing Unreal since the first one, like I said. And it was like one of the first games. It literally defined or redefined a genre because before Unreal, there was like really no semi-open world FPSs at all. Like, like for me when I was playing it, when you first got off like you were like a prisoner on a ship, and then it crash lands, and you get off the ship, and then all of a sudden everything's all open, and you're just like, holy shit! And then they opened up the the multiplayer, then the Unreal tournaments, and it was fucking amazing. Like Unreal does not get enough accolades. I think the main reason why it doesn't is because they haven't released a real fucking game since 2007. They had one that
Oh, I
released.
have that one.
Yeah, it was Unreal 3, I think it was, and that was on consoles as well. But there was one that was released in 2014, but it was only on PC and Linux, and it was just like it wasn't really it was sort of a new game, but not really. They need to make another one. Anyway, what Unreal is for people today is basically it's just an engine for
Mhm.
other games. And today they showed off a significant portion of their new technology, and it looks really really good. Like all the new tech for the Unreal Engine 5, and like I didn't know that one of the major upgrades for Fortnite recently was going to Unreal Engine 5.
Oh yeah, you know about that? That
Well, I
was a
don't play
huge.
fucking Fortnite. I'm an adult, bitch. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, but
I'm
still,
not
it's a
out here doing Fortnite dances and shit like that. No.
still technological thing because a lot of people are like, this is gonna change the game, and it will. It will most definitely
Well, it's
change
going to
it.
change way more than that because if you watch the GDC presentation, so apparently they're making a whole new. They call it the Unreal. It's UEFF, I think it's called Unreal Engine for Fortnite is what it's called.
Mm.
And so apparently you can import the normal Unreal um, elements and all these tools into Fortnite, and make a whole new game out of it. And it looks really intuitive. It looks really amazing. Like they were showing how to do things on the fly in like high fidelity. It looked really, really fucking good. So I think that you're gonna see like a lot of cool games coming out with the Unreal Engine and the Fortnite engine coming out relatively shortly. And what's really cool is that the Unreal Engine is free
Well,
for the most part.
yeah, I was about to say.
If you're an average person, it's free. All right. If you're like a game studio, no, it's not free, obviously. But if you're an average person, it's fucking free, and you can build your own game. And they did all this shit live, and it looked really relatively easy to do to like make your own game. And if you need, they have like a whole new marketplace for the Unreal Engine, where you can basically import all these things into your own game that just like fucking work. And I think it's going to be, hopefully, it'll be revolutionary to gaming. But I also hope, God damn it, can you please make a fucking another Unreal game? Like seriously, Epic, what are you doing? Please make a new Unreal game.
I don't think they're gonna do it. When's the last game outside of Fortnite that Epic has made?
I mean, they made a bunch, but they just no
Recently?
Unreal games.
What have they done recently? Are they mobile
Well, if you're
games?
saying Epic, I mean, basically any game that's based on the Unreal Engine is an Epic game.
Oh, yeah, but that's a shit ton of games.
Yeah, exactly.
But real quick, a slight caveat with the Unreal Engine. So, if you download the free version and you make a game and the game becomes successful, when you download the game, you have to agree that if your game becomes successful, you have to pay a percentage to Epic Games. I don't know what the percentage is. It's not huge, but you still got to pay them.
But
Like it's free until you use it, and then also certain assets to your libraries. Really popular ones you got to pay for. You got to pay for certain assets to add to your engine, and then there's a developer engine, but that's like I think $10,000 for that person.
That's entirely reasonable. To be honest
I
with
mean,
you.
the other popular engine that's also free is shit. I just had the name because yes, Unity. I have an old version of Unity. Unity is the same way. Unity is free. It's a Linux based or engine. Also, they have the same kind of setup. If you have the free version, it's fine. But if you make money off of it, you got to pay Unity like a percentage. And then really expensive, like really hard to do assets or even effects, you got to buy it, and then you can use it. It'll just add. It's really pretty intuitive. Usually, when you buy it, it literally just unlocks in your Windows, and you just literally click it and add it and fuck with it however you need to. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the business model. Honestly, like make it free until someone else is making money, and then get paid off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it honestly you can foster new talent for free, and then if they get really good, then you can bring them in, or you can still make money off of them. So I think I like that business model, to be honest.
But yeah, it seems very fair and very developer friendly, So
It is. It's still a constant battle between people like, do you like the Unreal? I mean, Unreal is very, very popular because apparently it's very easy to use. There's very powerful tools. And then Unity is just as well. I mean, it's a little bit more robust, but it's still fairly easy to use. I've used it, so.
Oh, go ahead, Prodigy.
In terms of engines, I mean, I remember people obviously advertising a whole lot, like, oh, we got the Unreal 4 engine. And then I've seen, for going back to Capcom stuff, I've seen the RE engine in a lot of their more recent games. Are some of them derivative of each other, or basically like copies in some ways, or are they all truly unique?
Some are unique. So the RE engine is unique to Capcom. That is their own, and they don't like for what I know, they don't license their shit out. They don't give it for free. They won't let other people use it. It's based on their stuff, their technology. The other really popular one at the time was the Frostbite engine, which is most famously used by EA and their subsidiaries. They also don't. They have like a similar version, but I know it's not. As far as I know, Frostbite ain't fucking free. And if you want it, you got even if you want like a light version, quote unquote. I'm using air quotes, like one that has like certain aspects, ones that help you learn to code and build games. That's not free either. That's like you got to pay for that shit. What's the other popular one? There's a fighting game engine uh by Capcom that they also use. I don't know the actual name for it, but they won't use that at all. That one you probably will never see in the open market.
Mm.
Um Lucasfilm they had a their own engine as well. I forgot what it was called. Started with an S, but they had their own engine like Ubisoft. They have their own engine for their Ghost Recon games.
Does
So
it? Didn't Hideo? What did Hideo use?
Yeah, he had his own engine too, which was amazing.
Yeah,
a lot of the unique ones are built in house from the ground up. Those
damn.
take time, real good time. You got to build your own physics. You build your own physics in the world. You got to build your own objects. You got to build your own models, animation. Sometimes you can outsource animations from um, other engines. There are certain engines that are specific to animation. Those will license out to companies, but sometimes some people build them in house. That takes more time, more money. So
Look,
Okay,
all I can titty
go ahead.
physics and titty fucking ass shaking booty physics that are in the game. It has to be real and squishy.
And this is where I fell off a little bit because we were talking about titties and shit and like before. I was like, why am I bringing up the GDC shit? Anyway, there was a really cool thing that they did for the Unreal Engine, and it was called MetaHuman. I think it was called. Pretty sure it was called MetaHuman. So basically, they took the actress from Senua Hellblade 2, or in Hellblade, like the first one. Um, they had her do like literally a live video at GDC of her like doing like a scripted like performance on screen where from a cell phone, and then somebody live there took that cell phone footage, recorded it, put it to their system, and then like manipulated it to like they basically made it so it was like, they were like all deep fakes
Oh shit!
of like what she was doing with her face and what she was saying on different faces. And it was fucking amazing.
that sounds fucking crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
these deep fakes get dangerous, more
Oh
dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Second, dude. Oh
So if you
shit!
ever see Prodigy as a Fuda, it's definitely him.
Titty physics and all.
Yeah.
God
That's who he
dang.
is in, like, in games. Like he's literally like a big titty chick, and
Yeah, that's kind of true.
you
It's funny.
seen, and packing a whole lot of dick.
So, I think it's been like a year or two, and I actually posted this on Twitter to Prodigy about an artist in Unity using the animatronics or the using the animation to do titty physics, and it's on YouTube. But it was posted on Twitter, like someone literally adjusting. Like there was just so many different variables that they would adjust live. Because what you can do in Unity, I don't know about Unreal, but like you can run the game and then modify the game as it runs, and it'll
yeah,
adjust
it was
live.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like, what the fuck? So you see this model like walking with titties bouncing, they would change shape, size, volume, like all kinds of shit, and you would see it on the model. And I sent it to him, and he was just like, I don't know how long he fucking watched it, but I'm pretty sure it's like an hour.
He's all out of fake nut because
Yeah,
he's
I have
sleeveless.
He's busting out all them squares, all them
see the
pixels.
skeet everywhere. These skeetums.
Yeah.
We had a question. We're gonna segue a little bit.
Okay.
Warrior fella asked a question way early in the podcast. This is gonna segue us into The Mandalorian. If y'all have watched it,
I haven't watched today's episode.
well, I mean, obviously,
Okay.
but it doesn't matter if you didn't watch today's episode. He said, "Do you all think? What do you all think? Bo-Katan has. Hold on, I'm reading this fucking all stupid. Do you all think Bo-Katan has deserved the right to challenge Din Djarin for the dark lightsaber and earn it for the first time?"
Um. So someone said that she kind of
What
earned
do
it
you
already.
think?
So I think that if she was going to challenge him, she would have done it in season 2. when she realized that he had the saber, and she's like, "Hey, that's my birthright." And when he tried to give it to her, and he yielded, and Moff Gideon was like, she has to win it in battle." She doesn't want to just take it from him in like some weak ass battle. She wants to defeat her enemy and earn the right to be technically the next Mandalorian.
Okay.
So right now, if you're watching season 3, she kind of doesn't give a fuck, but she's been kind of reignited. So I don't think she's going to outright challenge him until she feels like she needs to ascend and bring both factions of the Mandalorians, or at least the two factions that we see, because I know they're the third faction. So the two that she sees, if she wants to unite them, then she's kind of in a no-win scenario and has to challenge him. So I don't think she's going to unless she absolutely necessarily has to do it.
Okay. Prodigy.
I have not watched any Mando season 3.
Oh, okay. Well then, I will answer. Yes, I think that she deserves the right to challenge. But I don't think she's going to, especially because of the last episode.
Mm.
I think she gave her. I'm sorry. I think Din Djarin gave her actual hope for what it means to be a true Mandalorian.
Mm.
And I think if you watch the last episode, you will understand why, because she doesn't take her helmet off. So, and she saw things that she didn't think existed. So,
Mm.
yeah, I think that, yeah, she 100% deserves it because she was the last ruling class for Mandalore. And she can definitely handle that fucking lightsaber better than Din Djarin can.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I don't think she's going to because he's really bringing back like like what it means to be a Mandalorian, and I think she's gonna follow him because of that, and hopefully teach him how to fucking wield a lightsaber.
Uh, so I'm gonna throw a little monkey wrench in there. So we're getting Ahsoka later on this year, and in that Ahsoka, we're gonna get live action Sabine, and Sabine had the dark saber for a while. She earned that right to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she probably lost it to Moff Gideon, so she could show up in this season and challenge for the saber herself, which will monkey wrench
Well,
everything that's
I
going on right
mean,
now.
then that still, I think that she should show Mando how to wield his fucking sword. Just
I
saying.
make that tang tang
Yeah.
banging.
Maybe she
So,
could be his sheath.
oh,
Just
damn.
saying.
Damn. So, Prodigy, you need to be watching Mandalore season
So,
3.
so
I don't care about don't bring up that fucking argument
hold on.
about
Let me just
fucking
say,
Andor and all that
here,
shit.
well, yeah, but here's how you can convince me though. Is it better than Andor? Yes or no?
There
It's
is
Or
a
as good as Andor?
So I haven't watched all of
oh
Andor, but I will tell you there's an episode. The last episode was actually it's basically just like Andor. It's kind of weird.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
very much like Andor, but it's
yeah.
I mean I would say so. A lot of people complained about Andor being too slow and maybe too cerebral. This has more of the magic, and it has way more action than Andor. So it moves at a different kind of pace, but it's still, I would say it's probably just as good. It's not, there's not a lot of brooding. It's more of like kind of get to the point kind of shit. And it has more of the monsters, magic, and fucking.
Hold on. I can understand. Okay, Prodigy. I'll just be real. It's not fucking Andor, man. I mean,
Mm.
I mean,
it's not. So
the, the,
if that's
yeah,
your standard, it's not that, man.
and I didn't have that fucking standard until Andor
Yeah,
fucking blew
that's
me
fine.
away.
Yeah.
It really fucking blew me away, and I'm like, I can't go backwards. And I loved the first season of Mando because it
This
came
is
out before Andor.
this
But
isn't going backwards. This is not a backward step from Andor at
but
all.
It depends on what
if
he's
it
talking
ain't as
about.
good,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a problem for me. And I'm not shitting on it because again, I loved Mando 1 and 2. But Andor just raised the fucking bar of what I expect in the Star Wars series.
Well,
from me.
I can just tell you that, like, I forget what episode it was. There was definitely an episode on this season where it definitely was not that great. But the last one that came on, the one with it's very Andor-ish. I think
Okay.
you'll definitely appreciate because it's basically Din Djarin is not even in like 90% of the episode.
It's in
Yeah.
the
It's
beginning
about
and the
some
end.
yeah, it's about some other shit that you're just like, this is like Andor. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I get that. And the one that really fucked me up, again, not no fault of Mandor's at all, but Obi-Wan was just trash to me. I hated it. I thought it was just awful. And so I was almost not going to watch any more Star Wars series after fucking Obi-Wan. And then Andor fucking redeemed the ever-loving fuck out of it for me. But I can't do the roller coaster with that shit. It's got to be at close to at that level or whatever. Because I know they can, you know.
yeah,
But if it's good, it's good. You know what I mean? And I'm
It's
not
good.
shitting on Mando.
Mando's been. I've been very like very intrigued by this season of Mando. If to me, because it feels like it's still on par with Mando season 1 and 2. It has that same kind of energy. It's just less. Right now, it's not aimless, but it's kind of like they're setting up to something big. I can feel, you can see the pieces moving, where they're moving to something big happening because there's a lot of grouping, I'll say, a lot of stuff that they're setting up. And it's been a good setup for me so far. So I'm looking forward to today's episode. I haven't seen it yet. So
Yeah. And I'll also say again, no fault of Mando's at all. But after the fucking incredibleness of that season 1 of The Last of Us, I was just like, I'm gonna watch something. Not that Mando's like it, but I'm gonna. It still has Pedro. I'm going to just watch something fresh and different and new, and that's why I got into Edge Runners and fucking Swarm, and still watching my fucking Snowfall and shit.
and new, but you watch interspecies reviewers like every week. That's not new.
You you're not lying, but you're way too fucking loud. I don't know why.
There's
You just,
literally other anime. Doesn't Hentai Haven make their own fucking anime or own
dude,
hentai?
but they don't have slime girls, man. Like that's what it really is.
How do you know if you haven't really looked?
Well, okay. I'll ask the internet. Do your worst, weebs. More, suggest more hentai to me with slime girls and fucking food is on Friday and just
Oh
everything.
my god, that's doing a bit too much. Nobody needs all that kind of shit.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my.
All right.
Oh, so we should. There's a few things you should probably talk about really
Yeah,
quick.
one of them we got to.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we'll wait for Cronus to kind of come back. But so this one is all you because you've been talking about this the last couple days. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's the Diablo. I know you went back to a couple. Did you play the beta? I know you played Diablo 3. What's going
Yeah.
on with this?
So I've been playing a shit ton of Diablo 3 with Hobby, with Jen, even with crazy ass Sierra from Arkansas. Um, so I love Diablo 3. I fucking forgot how much I love Diablo 3. I did not play the beta because you had to for Diablo 4 because you had to pre-order Diablo 4 already, and I haven't pulled the trigger quite yet, but it's going to be free this next week. But Hobby was telling me, I saw some streams, I saw some twitching. It looks fucking incredible. It looks like everything you ever want from Diablo. And the great thing about Diablo is this: you got that 4-player co-op. You can work on your build in any kind of funky ass way in terms of all the power level as you rank up and which ones have the best cooldown and which ones have the best armor and which ones are legendary. There's just so much of it, and then goddamn well, especially based on 3, they're going to continue to support that shit. That shit had season after season after fucking season. They still have a current season of Diablo 3, so I'm fucking excited about this shit.
That game died, but I mean, I know people were playing it, so I guess.
It didn't
Sure.
die. There's still plenty of people playing it. I added like 2 or 3 more friends over the weekend, just randos that were like, "Hey, you want some of the best gear?" I didn't know that the legendary gear they have now is fucking green. You know how like when you saw
Beans?
when you saw legendary gear back in the day, it was like orange and super bright.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they have a green neon light on some second level fucking legendary gear, and I was like, God damn, this shit is great. So yeah, I love it. I can't wait to. I am gonna play the beta, but I'll do it this next weekend.
Okay.
what are you talking about? You talking about?
Yep.
Diablo.
Oh, I thought we did. I guess we didn't talk about it earlier.
No, it was before
No.
we started the cast.
Yeah, okay, that's what it
Yeah.
was. I was like, because Patrick asked if we or somebody, maybe it was Patrick. I'm pretty sure it was Patrick.
Yeah, it was him. It was him
Yeah,
and someone else.
Yeah,
So
I definitely, I want to play it. I'm gonna play it probably on Friday. So
it should be fun, man. It should be really fucking fun. And I heard it's all the beta is like all of the first act or something like that, which is fine. I don't even care if I have to replay it once the game is finally released or whatever. Yeah, I'm not expecting it to necessarily save that whatever I earn or content
they
or my
said they
goals.
would. So yeah,
They
there you
would.
go.
Well, then even better. Fuck it. But yeah, it's one of those games where it's really satisfying to play as another class, even though you're replaying the campaign again, because it's just so fucking different with all of the powers and abilities and shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, what's crazy to me, so like, I started playing Diablo from the first one, and it's amazing that it's even playable on consoles because when it first came out, it was just like, this is just a PC thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's fucking gonna play this shit on consoles. And then Diablo 3 came out, and then, I think a little while later, it dropped on consoles, and then all the console players were like, oh my God, this is so fucking good. I'm just like, yeah, this was good, like, 10 years ago. Um, but I think, honestly, I think it's really cool that we're getting so much more variety of games on consoles that were previously only really considered on the PC. And you can go back in time to like just FPSs. FPSs before like GoldenEye were 100% shitty on consoles. Like they were unplayable until GoldenEye. And even GoldenEye was just like it was playable, but I mean, and people still talk shit about the controller, the N64, about how it had like the claw and like the weird thing in the middle. It's like people don't really understand that the N64 controller it was such a huge improvement in gaming for consoles with that one thumbstick, even though it was oddly placed. But without that one thumbstick, you would not have had the vast majority of games we have today. Like you wouldn't have FPSs on consoles like at all. And so I'm really happy that these things are coming. And so yeah, seeing that Diablo 4 is going to release day one on consoles as well as PC. It's like that's really cool. And I think that these younger gamers or gamers that were never on PC, they don't really appreciate the fact that you're getting PC shit on your console. And on the flip side, you're also getting console shit on the PC side. I mean, look at what Sony's doing with their exclusives. I mean, you got Horizon Zero Dawn, you got God of War, you got a bunch of other previously
Uncharted.
Say again.
Uncharted as well.
Yeah, Uncharted. All these games that were PC AAA titles. I'm sorry, that were console AAA titles on the PC. It's fucking amazing. So this is just a great time to be alive, to be a gamer and a nerd. Just appreciate it.
Also, just piggybacking off of that, you got cross-platform gaming.
Yes, even though it's
yeah.
unfair. Yeah.
You got people who can help you in co-op that are on PC or on Xbox or whatever. So there's a fucking lot going on. There's a whole lot going on, and it's fun to just have more people to play with.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even say. Segueing a little bit, but I have so on my own personal channel, every now and again I post like videos for like clips of like my gameplay, and I posted like a video of Hogwarts Legacy of me just doing like a quick like slaughter gameplay, and it's got like 14,000 views, and I honestly I don't know fucking why, but like people like ask me questions about the game, and I'm like answering, and like some people are kind of like trying to be dicks about it,
Mm.
and I'm just like avoiding it, and just like some guy was like, oh, it could have been faster if you used like Mandrakes. I'm like, well, I don't use those, so do you? I'm gonna do me. Like I've already passed the game, so I'm gonna platinum it. But yeah, I think it's everybody plays like in different ways, and like just being able to like really being able to like post video gameplay like what you just did, or just doing live streams. To me, this is like a recent thing, like because I'm not as old as Old Ninja, but this is it's really neat to be to like literally post, because like somebody asked me like the video that I posted, somebody asked like how to get back up from where I was, and so I told him. And it's just like, to me, it was obvious. It's just like, I'm not going to be an asshole. Because I'm like, if you ask me a question about like how to do something in a game, I'm not gonna be a dick. Like you don't know. And if I have the answer, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna be an asshole about it. But it's cool to be able to like help gamers like do shit in a game where like previously like in the early days of gaming, first of all, it didn't exist, and then when it did exist, you had to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got stuck in an Atari game, literally there was no resolution for you, none. If you got stuck in a Nintendo game, you had to fucking call the Nintendo hotline.
Yeah. Or
So
sometimes
or
hourly.
you
yeah,
yeah, or you wait for the what was their
Nintendo Power,
magazine?
you had to pay for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had to
yeah,
pay for it.
or yeah, but so what I would do. So if you would live by a Barnes and Noble, if you're in the city, you just go there, just read it, or write it down, and then you leave. Easy.
Wow, that's because you
Good
suck.
call.
No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
I mean you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta make the best of what you got.
It is what it is. All right. We do got to talk about this one. Rick and Morty's Justin Roiland, Roiland, is that who you pronounce
Royland, whatever.
it? So I got some quotes. I know that everybody's gonna jump on in and on this one, but
Should I interrupt you first?
yes, of course.
Okay,
A
I just did, so it's
representative
out of
with
the
the
way. So go ahead.
yeah, a representative with the Orange County District Attorney. This is from IGN reporting. As of today, we did not have sufficient evidence to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. And this is for him being accused as of May of 2020 of domestic violence. And then here is his quick quote. I'm thankful that this case has been dismissed, but at the same time, I'm still deeply shaken by the horrible lies that were reported about me during this process. I'm disappointed that so many people were so quick to judge without knowing the facts based solely on the word of an embittered ex trying to bypass due process and have me canceled. That it may have succeeded even partially is shameful. However, now that the legal case is ended, I'm determined to move forward and focus both on my creative projects and restoring my good name. End quote. That's what's going on for today. That was the latest and greatest.
Hmm. In a strange segue, looks like I got invited to the Street Fighter 6 closed beta like 2 months ago, and I didn't even see it. But back to Justin Roiland. You know what? I don't really have too much to say about this. I mean, according to his Rick and Morty coworkers, he wasn't the greatest person to work with, and he didn't seem like a model employee, even outside of these allegations. So, even though he did voluntarily leave the gaming company because he was like part, I don't know if he's co-owner, but he was like one of the executives of the company, and he departed on his own free will. They didn't kick him out. He wrote a resignation letter. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, is he going to try to get these companies back, or is he going to start something new? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna completely like shit all over the guy, but it wasn't just this one issue that got him, fired from, Rick and Morty and um, basically Adult Swim or Cartoon Network or whatever. He had a lot of like work issues that were happening that multiple uh, coworkers brought up during this time period. I don't know if they just were just piling it on because of this, which is definitely a possibility. That seems kind of less likely because Dan Harmon, who is the main creator, he said that they basically haven't talked in like years, and that Justin Roiland was not part of the creative process for the past few years. And I would believe Dan Harmon way more than Justin Roiland at this point in time, or just in any point in time. I mean, he redefined the hero's journey, and he so far seems like a decent dude. But then again, I mean, so did Justin Roiland. But everybody has their faults.
Mm.
So go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, I don't know what's true and what's not in terms of what went on at Adult Swim. I'm gonna put for now that aside while that's being the facts are still to be determined or come out in terms of what's true and what's not about that. I mean, in terms of the domestic violence case alone, though, the fact that again, according to this DA in Orange County, they didn't have sufficient evidence to prove the case beyond any type of reasonable doubt. And that was it. It's being dismissed. I think for that alone, I think that that's a good thing, in terms of if they didn't have enough evidence, then from the domestic violence standpoint, uh, we need to leave them alone in terms of, I'm not going to sit here and try to imply that he's guilty of domestic violence or that any of this was even real for domestic violence. That's what I'm sticking with at all. I mean,
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
just,
you have to be
there's no
specific
evidence of it.
because the other stuff that I said was not refuted at all. But that specific thing you talked about, yeah, I mean, that's refuted, but the other shit, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, just because a case was dropped, as Stitch has said, doesn't mean he's still not a shitty person. I mean, I don't know
Well,
the guy personally. I don't know. I'm not in his circle of influence or whatever, but I understand that you're innocent until proven guilty. His
yeah.
case got dropped. Um, Maybe this person was a salty ex and wanted to drag his name. He did lose revenue due to these allegations. However, like I said, we don't know if this guy is a shitty person or not. I can't vouch for that. You can't do it. Neither
And
can Chris.
I want to
So,
be clear. I'm not vouching for it. I don't know him personally at all, but I don't necessarily like, again, I'm going to stick with just what is on here with domestic violence. I don't like any clouds still being over him on domestic violence after today.
Yeah, we're not saying that. I'm not saying about domestic violence. I'm saying that there's other behavior that was that was said about him in his work environment,
mm,
external to
Yeah,
indeed.
his domestic violence. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's why I'm really. I read the quote, and I want to be clear. I don't know what happened with work. I don't even know all of the details about it. I don't know if we'll ever know all the details, but I know domestic violence is some serious shit,
well,
and
I
to be
mean, I know what Dan Harmon said. So
and what did he accuse him of doing something like what was
he
it?
said that he wasn't a part of the Rick and Morty writing at all, and then other people that were on the Rick and Morty staff said that he was not a great person to work with.
Yes, for me, I don't know what that means in terms of tangible details. I don't. That could mean that you're someone who yells at work. That could mean that you're someone who pounds your fist on tables. That could mean that you're someone who doesn't approve
Those are
PTO.
all not great things.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, usually
Yeah,
if you say someone's shitty at work, that means they're not pleasant to work with. It's not a
yeah,
positive
I,
experience working with them. There's nothing positive from
I hear
multiple people
I hear
about
you, but
working with this person.
I hear you about nothing positive about that. I don't know what the specific details are, and I don't know what's true with that. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, but when you have someone who's basically like, because they have their own company, they
Yeah,
have their own production company.
but isn't it still under
Some,
Adult Swim Cartoon Network,
Yeah,
or am I
yeah.
tripping?
So a lot
yeah,
of it is,
but
except for maybe Squanch Games. Actually, Squanch Games might
no,
actually be under Nathan too.
Squanch Games was under. Oh yeah, it might be under Adult Swim. You're right, but uh, Justin Roiland has a show with Hulu. He has Solar
Oh
Opposites,
shit!
which is separate from them, and I don't believe that's an Adult Swim thing because it does not
It's on
air.
Fox. Yeah.
It does not air on Hulu. Or, I'm sorry, it does not air on Adult Swim. It's exclusive to Hulu.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, I think it's. I don't want to say it's reckless, but I think that just trying to focus on that one thing that he was exonerated from, but ignoring the rest of what everybody else said. I mean, and he didn't address it at all in his statement.
He did not.
Is not great. So
Is it being? I guess my question is: are things still being reviewed? I don't know this answer. Are things still being reviewed and investigated?
he wasn't fired solely because of the allegation. Because when the allegations came out, it took like weeks, and then it was like a bunch of other people saying that this guy did like a lot of other stuff in the workplace, and then it came out. Because I thought that Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon, they were like hand in hand, like making the show. But according to Dan Harmon, which is to me is a more credible source, that they had not worked together really in years, and that they had a whole writing team that were doing this whole thing, and he was just basically a voice actor. That's kind of concerning. And then the other people saying he wasn't great to work with is concerning too. I'm not saying burn the guy fucking for just that. I mean, I'm honestly I'm glad that he's not a fucking a wife beater or whatever. That's good, but at the same time, if you're shitty to work with, then you're shitty to work with. I've had plenty of people that have been shitty, people that I've worked with that I do not wish to ever work with again. And if they had an allegation for domestic violence or not, I don't give a fuck. I still would never work with them again, and I would prefer not to work with them again. And I think that's kind of so far that seems to be the case right now, is that people that they do not want to work with him because of the way that he presented himself in the workplace after a certain amount of years. So,
A quick addition to that, he left Squanch Games of his own accord.
Yeah.
He wrote his own resignation letter, which was posted online by Squanch Games. So he left them. They didn't fire him.
He resigned from the company. Yep.
So that was on his own accord.
I totally get it. Again, I'm happy. I'm happy that no domestic violence. We'll see about the other. I don't know
I
when.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that.
See.
Well, I agree that there appears not to be domestic violence.
Yeah,
Well,
because I mean,
but-
he could have beat
well,
on her. And
Well,
just
hold on. Just to be clear, he's not convicted of. There's no.
Okay.
There's
that's more
no.
accurate.
Yeah. Let me just be clear. There's no conviction, and there's no even case against him for domestic violence anymore.
Yeah, the case was dropped.
Yeah.
So it's slightly on a slight tangent. This kind of, I don't want to say applies. I feel like that's a little, but Kevin Spacey was
Whoa,
accused,
I mean, hold on.
but he was accused
Sir.
and not convicted.
Sir.
Was he convicted? No, he wasn't.
Didn't someone die?
No,
accuser.
the Anthony Rapp, who's on Star Trek Discovery,
Yeah.
he's the one who accused him, and apparently there wasn't enough to convict him. The
I
jury
thought
didn't.
there was another. Am I tripping? I'll have to look it up. There was another accuser that did die.
So there might have been. Oh, I think the accuser killed themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Then yes. So the answer is yes to my question. Yeah. There was someone who died and accused him. I remember that shit. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is a very different
Do
situation.
all of his atoms still exist in the same body?
Yeah. you telling me no, nobody died, and then he killed himself.
Yeah, I double stepped because I was like, oh yeah, someone did kill themselves. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so
But
yeah,
hey.
someone did die.
Hey, look, it is what it is. I'm not. All I said was the exact quotes. We'll see what happens. I hope that the true truth comes out with whatever the workplace. And I don't like working with anybody who's completely fucking shitty at work. I'm not ever defending that necessarily, but I also think there's a world of difference with perhaps, because I don't have all the details.
You should say mayhaps.
Mayhaps been yelling or fucking not approving PTO versus someone who may have beat their fucking.
That's the thing, Prodigy. If you're yelling at work at somebody, there's something wrong with you.
Well, but hold on, you don't see a world of difference between that and beating your
No,
fiance?
there's a world of difference, but
That's
obviously, Prodigy. Are we being real here?
Yeah, there's a world of difference between those two things.
There's a world of difference, but obviously you got to separate. If you're not dating somebody, and if you're just at work in a general sense, and your boss is yelling at you, there is a problem there. And I'm not equating the problem to domestic violence, but I'm saying though, this is a serious fucking problem, and it's a serious problem that you should be fired for. If you need to yell at your employees or your coworkers to do anything, you're a problem.
Yeah,
At work, and that's to me, that is a good enough reason for you to not have that fucking job anymore. That's
Sure.
excluding the allegations of domestic violence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And one's criminal and one's like an HR thing.
It is, but both of them you should lose your job for.
Well, not if you're
Not maybe an allegation if it's proven.
Yeah,
right.
I was going to say if it's proven for domestic violence, yeah, you're going to jail. If it's proven that you're some asshole at work yelling, then yeah, you're going to get fired.
And that's what seems to happen because, like, if you rewind the tape, he didn't get fired right away from the allegations. It was after all the other things came out of like the coworker saying that, hey, he was a shitty person to work with, and that's when they let him go. So
I mean, it was a couple years, so
yeah. So
this was May of 2020.
Don't be an asshole at work. I had to listen to this stuff with Kay, with like her former bosses yelling. I'm just like, just fucking leave your job. Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't need to work there anymore. Like,
well, and
I would never I remember there was a guy who didn't even yell at me specifically when I was over in Iraq and I was making like a lot of money, and I left the job because he yelled at a woman because she was looking for another job because he was a shitty boss, and he was good to me. But I was just like, you're gonna yell at this person for trying to find another job, and I'm like, no, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not doing this.
And and again, this is just from IGN. This is not Prodigy. IGN is stating that after the charges with the domestic violence came to light, that Adult Swim got rid of them.
So if I remember the timeline, it was after, but it's like, how long was it after? To me, it was not. It wasn't the same day. It wasn't even the same fucking week. It was after other coworkers talked about it, and then Dan Harmon came out and was like, "Yeah, he hasn't been a part of like the process on making the show for a long time, and they haven't talked in a number of years." And from what I remember, that's when he eventually got let go. It wasn't just because of these charges. So,
I don't know. All right, we're gonna wrap it up, unless there was something else.
I think we had one more B's and BTI.
Okay.
Wrong?
You did?
I thought we did. I thought I saw one after. Was it about Papa Bear?
Warrior Fellow? Oh, Papa Bear had one?
Oh, maybe it was.
I didn't write it
No,
down.
there's one where Warrior Fella.
I got
That's
that
what
one.
No, I guess it wasn't a B's and BTI, but we already addressed it. It was about Diablo.
Yeah,
Nope.
that was Patrick. And thank you, Patrick. And Papa Bear. And Warrior Fellow. Thank you, everybody in the fucking chat.
And we'll give you another update on Diablo 4 beta probably next week, because I plan on trying to play it, and I'm sure Kronos is as well.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it because Hogwarts Legacy, the fucking platinum is. I think I talked about it before the podcast, so I'll just say it on the podcast. The Hogwarts Legacy fucking platinum is goddamn bullshit, but I'm too fucking far in.
You're too deep.
Yeah, I'm too deep. It's like I gotta bust a nut, right? So I'm too far in. Too many pumps. Anyway, I didn't know they have to basically get all the goddamn collectibles in the fucking game to get the platinum. And you gotta play the game as every single goddamn house to a certain point, which is annoying. So there's like 600 fucking collectibles in the fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to play as every house to a certain point in the game to get the platinum. So
a lot of work.
And it stopped me from playing my VR shit. So the games are coming out. I'm just, god damn it.
So you have a character for every house now?
No, I'm trying to get all the trophies until I need to get the rest of the lesser houses. Just saying, because I'm fucking. Oh shit! You see that fucking shirt?
Oh, Gryffindor.
Goddamn Gryffindor. This was not on purpose, by the way. I just happened to wear this shirt tonight. But yeah, I'm a Gryffindor.
Nerd.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. Y'all know
Damn.
this.
Damn.
All right.
Proud nerd.
Well, dude, what you got popping this week? God damn it.
So I'm seeing John Wick 4 at some point this weekend.
Mm.
RIP to Lance Reddick. This is getting like high praise, high reviews before the movie was out. A lot of critics seem to love this. They're saying this is the best one yet. So I'm like, well, I guess I have to see it. I mean, Lance Reddick is still in it, so I'm gonna make my way to try to see this. Um, I've been playing more Destiny a little bit more, not as much, but I've been playing with certain people here and there. I'll probably dabble a little bit in it. Um, Playing a lot of Modern Warfare though. There's been a lot because they introduced like this new seasonal event, and it ends in like 20 days, and there's a lot of shit to do. So I don't think I'm gonna finish it, but I'm doing it. Oh, there's the raid. So I talked to Stitch and Prodigy about trying to do the raid. We haven't done part 2 of it yet. It
All
just
right.
came out last week. We're probably gonna try to make some time to do it sometime. Hopefully soon. We'll see. We still didn't talk about it, even though we had a chance tonight. Star Trek Picard season 3 is still knocking it out of the
I
park.
need to fucking catch up.
Yeah, it's been like their first story arc ended, so like their second one started last week. The new episodes tonight at midnight or tomorrow, whatever. I'm gonna be on that this weekend. It looks like it's gonna be storming up here, so I'm probably gonna boat to work. Um, we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I might. There's a very slim chance I might start Resident Evil 3 sometime this weekend. We'll see.
Get ready. Here's the other thing, though, real quick. You don't even have to play 3 to enjoy the fucking amazingness of 4. There's Leon isn't really in 3.
I know he shouldn't be in 3 at all, but I bought the game like 2 years ago, so
All right, that is what it is.
It's like a true, Japanese game. Shit don't make fucking. I just had a bunch of. They just keep falling. Fucking gravity still works. All right. I just dropped a bunch of comic books on the floor. Or gravity did. I'm just saying. They'll be okay. I hope they're back and boarded. Yeah, like true Japanese games. The sequels don't make sense.
Mm-mm.
It's fine. You don't need continuity
Nope.
unless you're Hideo Kojima. He knows what's up.
all right.
Except for Metal Gear Solid 2, which made no fucking sense. But it's okay. We'll let it go.
All you need to know with any type of Resident Evil is Umbrella is very, very bad.
That's all. That's all. That's all you're going to know. Everything else makes no sense.
All right, Kronos, what you got popping this week? Goddamn it!
I'm just trying to survive. I'm like Wyclef or the B-52s.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're gone till November.
No, I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to survive right now. I think a mutual friend of ours is coming down next week, right, Prodigy?
That's what I hear.
Yeah, I didn't know about that until like recently, which is weird because I talked to Drew the other day and he didn't say shit about it.
I just learned this week, so
Yeah, I talked to him literally this week. He didn't say shit.
yeah.
I'll
I'm
have to
just
ping him again. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say. Fuck it, I'll keep it
Yeah.
short.
Okay. I was gonna say. I mean, just trying to survive is good enough for me.
Yeah.
All right. You just
I got-
experienced.
What
Oh,
the-
my bad.
No, wait, Prodigy's got to say some shit, right?
Yeah.
Fuck
Goddamn.
Prodigy. Fuck that dude.
Fuck his
Yeah,
couch.
Interspecies Reviewers is going to be watched again, and
See.
no, I'm going to try to check out this John Wick 4. Goddamn it, and watch. I'm going to finish off Edge Runners and watch some more goddamn Swarm. I'm loving Horizon Forbidden West. I finally got into it because it was free or partially free on PlayStation Plus.
Paid for it free.
Yeah, paid for it free. And so really enjoying that. I'm fucking early on in the game and I forgot how to use the fucking bolt arrows or whatever where you put the trap down. I was like, how come I'm not fucking electrifying these
Prodigy,
motherfuckers?
why are you bullshitting? You know all about traps.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I set myself up for that one. Yeah, so definitely I need both of y'all's opinion on this fucking Swarm show for next week, goddammit.
I will watch it next week. Sorry, the reason why I was kind of like not giving I was looking for this fucking comic right here was somewhere where I didn't think it was.
Oh shit.
and it's Hulk 13. I got the variant cover, and apparently this is worth money.
Yeah.
And it's if y'all not reading the Hulk right now or the X-Men right now, I just caught up on a whole bunch of comics, and the Hulk and X-Men, and like there's like a lot of good shit going on. And even like Batman is also really good right now.
Nice.
Definitely check it out.
Good shit. One last thing. There was a Demon Slayer fucking movie that I need to see, and season 3 has, I believe, debuted. So I got to get all the way caught up with Demon Slayer.
Are there
I
traps
fucking
in there?
do. I don't think. Well, you know what? Actually, so supposedly season
Oh.
2.
People get mad when we say trap. I'm sorry.
Look, we learned that lesson, but I don't give a single solitary fuck. That term has been used in fucking anime since.
I mean, yeah, but you can say the same thing. Like if I were to say like the N word, it's like, well, it's still used in like by white boys in the South.
But like
White
they're
boys today.
literally trying to sometimes trap and kill. So, like,
Yeah, but I mean that's not a really good excuse, man. To be honest with you.
these are these are fictional characters, not human beings.
Still, man, I mean it to me. I need to stop saying the word. So, yeah, I can see why it's offensive to people.
All right, take us on out, old ninjas.
All right. This is the trapless Weapons of Black times infinity you just experienced. Check us out
I
anywhere
gotta
and
do more
everywhere.
shoulder work. I'm just saying, shoulder work.
Ethan BTI. That's BTHANBTI. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, we're anywhere and everywhere, even on Twitch, even socials, even Facebook and Instagram. We're on there. We have a website, benheadproductions.com/BTI. I actually saw someone asking to be in the Discord yesterday. So we have a
Lick.
Discord. Yeah, we can give you the link.
Wait,
Just let us know. But
think to PlayStation now? Didn't they have that update?
it's chat. Yeah, you can chat via
Well,
PlayStation
it's
5.
more than just chat.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess chat was the biggest feature that people wanted that was missing. I don't know.
Well, is integration, total integration. So now, like when if you go on, if you link your PlayStation account to Discord, you can first of all, yes, you can chat in Discord while you're playing a game, but you can also see like what game they're playing
Hmm.
and when. And if you want to like be able to play with them, it's way easier now. It's like kind of a long overdue update. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So we have an email account. You can email us at btbti@gmail.com. Let us know that you want to join Discord. So there we go. Then you can chat. You can chat via whatever, I guess, whatever platform now. PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC. So there you go.
Linux, whatever. Not a
Whatever.
Mac though. If you got a Mac, go fuck yourself.
Oh man.
You know what you did.
Unreal